All right, let's dive into something that I think almost all of us have felt, but it's kind of hard to pin down. We're talking about brain fog. That super frustrating feeling when your mind just feels sluggish and it throws your whole day off track. So, let's decode it together.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're trying to think, but it feels like you're wading through mud. You're searching for a word that's right on the tip of your tongue, or you just feel completely drained for no good reason. Yeah, that's the haze we're talking about. So here's the plan. Over the next few minutes, we're not just going to define what's going on in your head. We are going to give you a real, practical toolkit filled with strategies you can actually start using today to get that mental clarity back.
Okay, so what even is brain fog, really? Because it's so much more than just being a little tired. To fix a problem, you've got to understand it first. So let's start there with a nice, clear definition.
And this is a really important point. Brain fog isn't some official medical diagnosis you can get. It's more like the check engine light in your car. The light itself isn't the problem, right? It's a symptom, a signal telling you that something else under the hood needs your attention.
So, do any of these ring a bell? I mean, losing your train of thought right in the middle of a sentence, feeling mentally wiped out after doing almost nothing, or just staring at a task and not being able to focus. Seeing them all listed out like this can actually feel kind of validating. It's not just you. This stuff is real.
Now that we know what it feels like, let's play detective and figure out what's causing it. We're going to zero in on 4 of the biggest clarity killers, these sneaky little daily habits that might be triggering your brain fog without you even realizing it.
And here they are, the usual suspects. Way too much sugar, that feeling of digital fatigue, being just a little bit dehydrated, and getting caught in that tricky caffeine cycle. These 4 are everywhere in modern life, and each one has its own way of clouding up our thinking.
Oh, we've all done this. You grab a cookie or a soda for that quick energy hit, and hey, it works. For about 20 minutes. But then comes the crash. That spike in your blood sugar is followed by a big drop. And that's what leads directly to a loss of focus and that sluggish feeling. That little boost, it comes at a pretty high price. And what about our phones and laptops? They're constantly bombarding our brains with information. It completely overloads the prefrontal cortex. That's kind of like the CEO of your brain, the part that handles focus and big decisions. The result? Total mental exhaustion. We call it digital fatigue. Okay, this number is just, wow. It shows how incredibly sensitive our brains are to water. You don't have to be wandering through a desert to feel the effects. Losing just 1 to 2% of your body's water, which, let's be honest, happens all the time, is enough to mess with your concentration, slow you down, and make your short-term memory worse. Which, of course, brings us to the most popular weapon against fatigue, caffeine. But think about this for a second. Is that morning cup of coffee actually making you sharper, or is it just fixing a problem that the coffee itself created? The answer might not be what you think. This is so fascinating. What this research basically says is that for those of us who drink coffee regularly, that boost we feel isn't really a boost at all. It's mostly just our brain getting a sweet sigh of relief from the withdrawal symptoms that started kicking in while we were sleeping. We're not getting ahead, we're just getting back to zero. But what if you're doing all the right things with your daily habits and you still feel foggy? Well, sometimes we have to dig a little deeper. Let's look at some of the hidden biological culprits that might be causing the trouble.
See, your brain is hungry. It needs a constant supply of key nutrients to work right. If you're low on any of these, you're going to feel it. For example, vitamin B12 is like the protective coating on your brain's wiring. If you don't have enough, you can get memory issues. A lack of magnesium can mess with your focus because it's crucial for how your brain cells talk to each other.
And then there are hormones. They're like these super powerful messengers that directly impact how your brain works. For women, especially around perimenopause, a drop in estrogen can really affect neurotransmitters tied to memory and mood. And for men, low testosterone is often linked with a drop in focus and mental sharpness. And we can't forget this brutal 1-2 punch: stress and sleep. Being stressed all the time floods your brain with cortisol, which makes it harder to think clearly. And when you don't get good sleep, your brain can't do its nightly cleanup, tidying up memories and clearing out all the junk. Put them together, and it is the perfect recipe for brain fog. Okay, enough about the problems. We've figured out what's causing the fog. Now for the best part, the solutions. Let's build your own personal anti-fog toolkit with some simple, practical things you can start doing, like right now. Look, when your brain feels unreliable, the last thing you should do is try to make it remember everything. So don't. Write it all down. Use that 2-minute rule. If something's quick, just get it done. Set alarms and reminders on your phone. And if you're feeling totally overwhelmed, just pick one tiny thing to do. That's how you build momentum.
This chart lays it out perfectly. It really is about making small, smarter swaps. So instead of processed foods, fuel your brain with things like berries and nuts. Instead of staring at a screen for hours, try the 20-20-20 rule to give your brain a break. It's all about these little shifts that add up to make a huge difference.
All right, as we start to wrap this up, there's one last thing I really want you to take away from all this. This is not about trying to become a perfect human overnight.
So let's just quickly recap the big ideas. Number 1, brain fog is a symptom, okay? It is not a personal failure. Number 2, your daily habits are the biggest levers you have to make a change. And finally, small, consistent actions are the real secret to getting that mental clarity back.
I absolutely love this quote. You have to be kind to yourself. Some days are just going to be foggier than others, and that's okay. Celebrate the little wins and don't beat yourself up. It's all just part of the process. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What is one small thing you can do today to start clearing the fog? Maybe it's just drinking one extra glass of water or putting your phone away an hour before bed tonight. What's that one small step you can take? Thanks so much for joining me.